Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Indiana Pacers is tomorrow, and I'm here to break down the series. All of that and much more on the Knicks Digest. What's up, guys? It's your boy Dariel from Knicks Digest, and I want to get right into today's video. So just like I put out a video prior to the 76ers series starting, I put out a video talking about the 3 keys that the Knicks have to focus on in order to advance in the playoffs. I'm going to be doing the same thing against the Indiana Pacers in the second round. So let's get right to it. So first and foremost, the first thing that the Knicks need to hone in on, we need to hone in on the bench. And yes, AKA Deuce and Mitchell Robinson. Now, as far as Mitchell Robinson, what I'm really asking for is if he could just try and interrupt what Miles Turner likes to do, just try and always be around him, make him feel uncomfortable. Because Miles Turner, the difference between him and Joel Embiid is Miles Turner is healthy, and him and Joel Embiid have similar games. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, even though Joel Embiid is definitely better. But Miles Turner is able to do a pick and pop. He's able to pick and roll. He's able to put the ball on the floor. He's able to create for himself. Creating for others, not so much. And Joel Embiid actually has a little bit of a problem creating for others as well. But whatever. Back to Miles Turner. So Mitchell Robinson, he's gonna have him and Isaiah Hartenstein. They're definitely gonna have their hands full trying to guard and trying to contain Miles Turner. But what I'm really talking about Deuce. The Deuce is loose. Listen, man. Since we lost Bogdanovich, which was a huge loss. We had a 3-man rotation coming off the bench with Bogey, with Mitch, and with Deuce. And now with Bogdanovich out, we only have Deuce and Mitchell Robinson compared to the Indiana Pacers bench. The Indiana Pacers bench, they got TJ McConnell, they got Obi Toppin, they got Doug McDermott, they got Isaiah Jackson, they got Ben Shepherd, they have a slew of players that Rick Carlisle uses coming off the bench. And we have yet to hear if Coach Tibbs is actually going to extend that playoff rotation from 7 to 8 man, and we have yet to hear if Coach Tibbs is going to add Alec Burks, a Precious Achiuwa, maybe even a Shake Milton. As far as right now, all we know is that he's going to keep his 7-man rotation, and that's that. But going back to Deuce, we're 100% going to need productivity from our bench because Indiana Pacers, they're going to get productivity off their bench. And if the only productivity that we're getting is out of our starting 5, that means that the minutes are going to go way up. Even though they are already up, Coach Tibbs is going to make Brunson play 48 minutes, Josh Hart the same, probably Dante DiVincenzo the same. Going back to the first round against the 76ers, I was looking at Deuce's numbers. And in game 1, Deuce had 21 points. He was 5 of 7 from three-point land, 7 of 12 from the field. And game 1 was 100% Deuce's game. Deuce was definitely the co-MVP of game 1 against the 76ers. Now, that was when we had Bogey. And in that game, Bogey, Mitchell Robinson, and Deuce McBride were the 3 players coming off the bench. In game 2, Deuce McBride had a lesser game. He had 9 points. He hit no 3-pointers. He was 4 of 11 from the field. And the 3 players coming off the bench was Bogey, Mitchell Robinson, and Deuce. And I remember game 2 being more of a collective effort rather than really singling out Deuce McBride as the co-MVP. It was a really big collective effort between Mitch, between Bogey, and Deuce. In game 3, this is where Coach Tibbs actually extended his playoff rotation to 4 men. So Precious played, Bogey played, Mitchell played, and Deuce played. Deuce had 8 points. He was 2 of 4 from three-point land, and he was 3 of 7 from the field. If you're looking at the first 3 games in this series, the first one was 21, the second one was 9, then the third one was 8, and then in game 4, Deuce had 13 points. He was 3 of 5 from three-point land, 4 of 7 from the field, and where Bogdanovich actually hurt his ankle and basically ended his season. Mitchell Robinson actually didn't play this game. So Precious Achiuwa was the next man up, and I remember specifically in this game, Precious actually did a pretty good job against Joel Embiid. Coach Tibbs went back to a 7-man playoff rotation. He got rid of Precious, and it was basically Mitchell Robinson and Deuce McBride. Deuce in this game had 14 points. He was 2 of 7 from three-point land, 6 of 11 from the field. Mitchell Robinson added 1 bucket. As far as the theme for Deuce's play in the first round against the 76ers, it's been up and down. And then the last game, which was game 6, Deuce added 3 points, which was his only bucket from three-point land. Mitchell Robinson added 2 points, but he was doing a stellar job against the 76ers and Joel Embiid. So I'm just giving you those numbers just to show you that Deuce was kind of up and down in the first round against the 76ers, which we absolutely cannot have in this round going up against the Indiana Pacers. I keep saying time and time again, now that Bogdanovich is out and we don't know who if Coach Tibbs is going to add Shake Milton or Alec Burks or Precious Achiuwa, Deuce is going to have to really come up big in this series to help out Jalen Brunson and the rest of the team. In my opinion, I think Deuce needs to have anywhere between 10. Actually, you know what? Let's bump that to 12 to 18 points every single game in order to help the starting five and get productivity off the bench. And speaking of the bench, so I talked about Deuce and Mitchell Robinson and what they need to provide the Knicks in order for us to advance. But what are they going to be going up against? They're going to be going up against their top two bench players, Obi Toppin and TJ McConnell. So I looked at the numbers from their series against the Milwaukee Bucks, in which they won in 6 games. So TJ McConnell against the Milwaukee Bucks in the first round. His first game, he had 10 points. He had no three-pointers, 5 of 13 from the field. In game 2, TJ McConnell had 6 points, no three-pointers, 2 of 6 from the field. In game 3, TJ McConnell had 7 points, 1 of 2 from three-point land, 3 of 6 from the field. TJ McConnell in game 4, 8 points, no three-pointers, 4 of 11 from the field. In game 5, TJ McConnell had 6 points, no three-pointers, 3 of 10. But then in game 6, which made its way around the NBA media, TJ McConnell exploded and he had 20 points, 2 of 2 from three-point land, 7 of 9 from the field. TJ McConnell has always been one of the more respectable backup point guards in the league. I remember when he was in Philadelphia and he was backing up Ben Simmons when Ben Simmons was actually playing. I just loved his game. It just seemed like he was always in control. He always knew what he was doing. And don't sleep on TJ McConnell. He has game. He's super short. He's like maybe 6 feet or maybe a little under that. But in the first round against Milwaukee Bucks, I saw highlights of him crossing up Pat Beverly, attacking the rim, putting everybody in spin cycles. TJ McConnell has game, man. We really got to be wary of TJ McConnell. And the second man coming off the bench, Obi Toppin. So Obi Toppin, obviously an ex-Knick. Like I said in previous videos, he's going to have a little bit more motivation. In the first round against the Bucks in game 1, he didn't really have a good game. 4 points, no three-pointers, 2 of 6. In game 2, Obi Toppin had 9 points, 1 of 5 from three-point land, 4 of 11 from the field. In game 3, he had a better game with 15 points, 2 of 6 from three-point land, 6 of 11 from the field. In game 4, 13 points, 1 of 2 from three-point land, 6 of 9 from the field. In game 5, Obi Toppin had 12 points, 2 of 5 from three-point land, 3 of 7 from the field. And in the closeout game, in game 6, Obi Toppin had 21 points. So TJ McConnell and Obi Toppin in game 6 in the closeout game against the Milwaukee Bucks, they each had 20 points each. And Obi Toppin in this game was 3 of 10 from three-point land, 8 of 15 from the field, converting 2 of his free throws. So that is what the Knicks are going up against as far as the bench. What the Indiana Pacers have, they have someone in Obi Toppin who's athletic, who likes to get up and down the court. And do we have anybody that's going to be able to match up against Obi Toppin? I mean, we got OG Anunoby, but OG Anunoby more than likely is going to be put on Pascal Siakam. So then maybe Josh Hart might have to slow him down. Maybe Dante might have to slow him down. And TJ McConnell is an absolute floor general. He is just someone that's going to come into the game, control the pace, and when he has an opportunity to attack, he will attack. He will put some points on the board. So that's what we have going up against us as far as the bench. Now, the next key that the Knicks need to hone in on, we need to make sure that we get this guy going from the start. We can't wait for this guy for game 4, for game 5, for game 6 to start going in the series. And of course, I'm talking about Dante DiVincenzo. Dante, man, he's going to be a very important X factor for this series. The Villanova core 3, Josh Hart crashing the boards, Jalen Brunson being Jalen Brunson, and Dante being that three-point sharpshooter from beyond the perimeter. We need him to have a good game consistently throughout these playoffs. Now, I understand the playoffs become more intense, the physicality ramps up, and the scouting report, they start dialing in on specific players. And the Indiana Pacers, they're 100% honing in on Dante DiVincenzo, making him get off the line. So they're really honing in on his three-point shooting. But Dante, he's got to get over that. If he's not hitting his three-point, he needs to be able to put the ball on the floor and go to the basket. In the first round against the 76ers, whenever he was not on, his game just struggled, and we didn't really see him until I think it was game 5 or game 6 where he really came up big. In game 1, Dante DiVincenzo had a poor game. He had 8 points, 2 of 5 from three-point land, 3 of 10 from the field. In game 2, Dante DiVincenzo had 19 points, which was a little better, 4 of 8 from three-point land, 5 of 10 from the field. Game 3, Dante DiVincenzo had 5 points. He hit no three-pointers, 2 of 7 from the field. In Game 4, Dante DiVincenzo had again 8 points, 2 of 7 from three-point land, 3 of 11 from the field. In Game 5, Dante had 9 points, and that game, we actually could have ended that game at the Garden. And I'm not putting the blame and I'm not putting the onus on Dante DiVincenzo, but If Dante was able to play a little better in Game 5 specifically, we wouldn't have to go back to Philadelphia to close it out. Huge props to the Knicks for going to Philly and closing it out. But Dante, in the first 5 games against the 76ers, he only had one good game, which I believe was in Game 2. But then in Game 6, like I said earlier, he exploded for 23 points, 5 of 9 from three-point land, and 8 of 18 from the field. But Dante, like I keep saying, he's going to be the X factor in this series. If we can have Dante rolling, if we can have Josh Hart crashing the glass like he was a demon in the first round against the 76ers, and Jalen Brunson, which of course he's going to be Jalen Brunson, if we have him playing like the MVP and we have all 3 of those players clicking at the same time, we can make this series go 7, and we could actually advance and get to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1999, the 2000 season, when we actually went to the finals and lost to the San Antonio Spurs and Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Now, the most important key that we really need to hone in on, I'm not going to bring up stats, I'm not bringing up numbers with Jalen Brunson, because you guys know the type of player he is. He is that boy. He is the leader of the Knicks. He has the opportunity to go down as one of, if not the best Knick of all time, if he keeps going on this run. But Jalen Brunson, what we need from him, we just need him to be himself. We need him to lead the team. We need him to be aggressive. We need him to start looking for a shot. If Jalen Brunson is the best player on the floor, which I think is really, really possible, because as far as the best players that's going to be on the court at one time, you're looking at Jalen Brunson, you're looking at Tyrese Halliburton, you're looking at Miles Turner. But the thing is, with Tyrese Halliburton, this is his first playoff experience. And yeah, he's the leader of the Indiana Pacers. He makes everyone go. But Tyrese Halliburton, being his first time in the playoffs, everything is new to him. This is a learning experience for him. Jalen Brunson has been in the playoffs before. He knows how to handle himself within different situations. Miles Turner, who more than likely is the second best player on the Indiana Pacers, even though he has a really good offensive game, Miles Turner is a big. He doesn't have his hands on the ball all the time like Tyrese Halliburton does, which kind of hinders him, which is why I put Miles Turner probably at number 3 as far as the 3 best players that are going to be on the court for this series. I got Jalen Brunson at 1, Tyrese Halliburton at 2, Miles Turner at 3, and then after that, it's up in the air. You can convince me you're talking about OG Anunoby is the 4th best player. You can convince me to talk about anybody from the Indiana Pacers. But Jalen Brunson, we need him to be the MVP that he is. Put everybody in their place, look for his, and attack the defense, and look at what the defense is giving him. If they're doubling, if they're blitzing, make sure he makes the right read, pass out of the double, pass out of the blitzing, make sure he tries to empower his teammates to take over. Now, in the first round against the 76ers, Jalen Brunson averaged 35.5 points, 9 assists, and 4.5 rebounds in 6 games, which the numbers are absolutely ridiculous. So Jalen Brunson better be prepared for that scouting report from Rick Carlisle, who has a ring. He has an NBA championship ring with the Dallas Mavericks, but you know Rick Carlisle, and he played for Rick Carlisle in Dallas. I believe Jalen Brunson was maybe there 2 years. He was backing up Luka Doncic. But Rick Carlisle, he's definitely going to have different defensive schemes to be thrown at Jalen Brunson, and Brunson definitely has to be ready for it. I don't think he's going to be averaging 35.5 points this series. First and foremost, Indiana likes to get up and down, even though if you do get up and down, you're going to have more possessions. That's just how the data breaks down. But I just feel like Rick Carlisle definitely has something up his sleeve to throw at Jalen Brunson. But that's it for today's video, guys. I want to say thank you for checking out. Let me know and leave it in the comments what you guys think about the matchup against the Indiana Pacers. Game 1 is tomorrow. Game 1 of the Eastern Conference semifinals against the Indiana Pacers is tomorrow. And also let me know, what do you guys think the result will be? Do you guys think Knicks will win Game 1, or do you think Indiana Pacers will come into the Garden and steal one? But until next time, you know the drill, you know the vibes. Taj Gibson for president, Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs, Deuce McBride for co-MVP, and I'm out. Peace.